start with the first core value: uphold highest ethics and integrity. Upholding ethical standards builds trust and transparency, reflecting our commitment to honesty and integrity. Let's see why this core value is important to us. Upholding ethical standards fosters trust and transparency within our teams and our stakeholders. It ensures honesty in our dealings and building long-term relationship based on integrity. Elcom as a company is a 32-year-old company. This success could not come without the trust of our stakeholders, be it our partners, our customers, vendors that we work with, or the employees. All of these are relationships that are built on integrity and trust. That's why it's very, very important that we uphold highest ethics and integrity in each of these relationships. To foster long-term relationships, integrity will play a very, very important role for you. As I always say, we are not here to play short-term games. A long-term system is what we are creating. And let's see how it translates into our working. We prioritize transparency in our communication, transactions, and decision-making processes. Every action we take reflects our commitment to ethical behavior and trustworthiness. So this is very important that transparency is maintained in each of our actions, decisions, and processes. Be it a relationship with your existing employee, peer, manager, or your colleague, or an external partner or a vendor. It's very important that you maintain transparency. Let them know the reason for your decisions and communicate them effectively. That's why upholding highest ethics and integrity will play a very important role in making you successful at Elcom. Let's move on to the second core value: dynamic adaptability. Embrace change and innovation empowers us to stay competitive and agile in a rapidly evolving business landscape. So we understand that the field that we work in, the industry that we work in, there is one thing that is constant, that is change. This industry is evolving at a pace that is unmatchable and unbeatable. For us to be a company that matches this scale and this pace, it's important that we embrace adaptability. Let's see why is it important for us. In a rapidly changing business environment, agility allows us to adapt to new challenges and seize opportunities efficiently. It enables us to stay ahead of the curve and remain competitive. Like I always say, Elcom is always a startup. We may have crossed 100 and 1,000 crores in our turnovers over the years. However, we still maintain the mindset of a startup because we are just starting up. And with this mindset, we remain agile. We move forward with the mindset that we want to know and we want to adapt as the market is changing, as our customer needs are changing, and as the requirement of this industry is changing. How does it translate for us? Let's understand. We embrace change and encourage a culture of continuous learning and innovation. Our teams are empowered to pivot quickly, experiment with new ideas, and adapt to evolving market dynamics. So this, how it translates to us is actually a little unique. Let's break it up into three parts. The first part is understanding what change is happening in the industry and the market. For that, you have to understand, read the market trends, study and talk to the peers and market leaders in understanding what changes are happening in the industry. The next is translating how these changes are actually reflected in our working, in requirements for our customers, and then make processes and technology according to these changes. And the third is pivoting very, very quickly. I'll give you one example. Last year, we were one of the first early adopters of a technology called generative AI. Generative AI was only beginning to come up as a buzzword in the industry, but we were one of the first technology companies in the country to start building on top of it. In fact, AWS has actually supported us in this transformation and congratulated us as well in being one of the first early adopters. And that's why dynamic adaptability is a very, very strong core pillar that helps us stay ahead of the curve and ahead of market trends. Let's move on to the third core value. The third core value, and one of my favorites, is continuous learning. Investing in everyday learning fosters personal and professional growth and equips us with the skills needed for success. So, continuous learning is actually made up of two things: continuous, never ending. It's actually a cycle that never ends. From the day we were born till the day we would continue to lead a professional life, learning is something that needs to be continuous. Why is it important for us? Continuous learning is essential for personal as well as professional growth. It equips us with knowledge and skills needed to excel in our roles and drive organizational success. So this is very much linked to the core value number 2, dynamic adaptability, because while adaptability teaches us to stay ahead of the trends, it's very important that we also learn the trends and the skills needed to be adaptable. So that's why learning is a very, very important value that will help all of us stay ahead and remain adaptable. How does it translate? We invest in employee development programs, provide access to resources for learning and skill enhancement, foster a culture of curiosity and knowledge sharing across the organization. We offer opportunities for professional growth through training programs, mentorship initiatives, and career advancement pathways. Feedback mechanisms are in place to facilitate ongoing learning and development, ensuring that our team members feel valued and empowered to reach their full potential. I would request each one of you, from the day you join Elcom, please work on a learning charter with your manager. Learning is something that each one of us should have in place, and I think learning for each one of us should be structured. It should not just be a goal in the air. It should be a milestone that is written, documented, and has a deadline. For example, even my leadership team and I, we all have a learning charter that all of us follow and track very, very closely. And urge to all of you, create a learning charter for yourself. Work on the skills that you need to ace the role that you are in. Take the help of leadership, myself, and your manager to create this charter for yourself. Let's move on to the next core value, that is synergy and collaboration. Cross-functional collaboration ensures alignment and leverages collective expertise to achieve common goals. Let's see, why is it important? Collaboration ensures synergy and alignment across teams, departments, and external partners. It enables us to leverage collective expertise and resources to achieve common goals. I think one thing that's very important for all of us to understand is that Elcom, and in fact any organization for that matter, is not a one-player game. This is a multiplayer game that involves each one of us to play different roles, to have different expertise, and to support each other in this multiplayer game. That's why synergy and collaboration is a very, very important core value that is required at Elcom. Let's see how it translates. We promote cross-functional collaborations, encourage open communication, and facilitate teamwork at all levels. Collaboration is ingrained in our processes and reflected in our commitments to collective success. One thing you'll see at Elcom is that we really encourage open communication. Transparency in terms of feedback across orgs, across business units, and across team is something that is a very, very common thing in our DNA. We do not hide, we do not show. We are transparent in what is the state of the matter. That's why synergy and collaboration is an important core value to ensure that each of our teams work together to ensure success of the company.